Hi, my name is Sidney, and I play Ilona, and this is what you missed on last week's episode of Edge of Legend. Yeah! There's a lot of information we gotta get through, so buckle in, sit down, and get ready for a wild ride. After surviving a bloody battle with the members of the new unit, the adventurers head into camp, hoping to discover what the orcs and goblins were tinkering on earlier. Inside, they find this monolith of an orc on fire, staring blankly into the sky. As the adventurers approach it, Eloise picks up on some dark elements at play, discovering it's only an empty vessel capable of taking commands. Upon Shionibus speaking to it in Orcish, he leans down to tell her he only takes orders from his commanding officer. Eloise and Ilona attempt to convince the others that they should take the orc wherever they decide to go next, as both of them attempt to put out his fire. Upon further investigation of their surroundings, the adventurers notice that the surrounding deforestation was from the camp making gigantic spears that attacked Cobbledale. Shionibus grills him about his commanding officer, and he replies with, "Unit designation Leontari, I only report to the General Lion." Since nobody else can speak Orc, Shionibus is the only one designated to be in charge of Leontari. Woodward suggests giving him a trial to explore his abilities, but Leontari still won't listen to Shionibus. Then, Ilona uses her powers of coercion with the help of Eloise, Rufa, and Shionibus to convince Leontari that Shionibus is the new General Lion, and after a rousing performance referencing a van down by the river, Leontari now responds to Shionibus's commands. The group decides to test his abilities, but though Woodward suggests chucking a spear to their previous camp, Shionibus decides to aim it at Morel, who braces himself with a grimace. Before anyone can object, Leontari launches a spear at Morel, impaling him into the ground, leaving him a dying one. Ilona panics and immediately rushes over to resuscitate him as the others stare in horror. Except for Matthias and Eloise, who find some grim indifference in his pain. Methinks Matthias doesn't like Morel. Woodward is visibly upset with Shionibus as the others decide what to do next. Upon looking at the map and confirming with Leontari, the adventurers ascertain that whoever created him with alchemy is at the orc headquarters in the quarry. They decide to gather some spears and bomb-making supplies from the decimated camp as they double back to their original camp before continuing on their journey. When everyone arrives at camp, they decide that Leontari is going to take watch overnight with a few of the other party members. The general plan for the next few days is to decimate the next new unit on their path and disguise Eloise as a goblin to escort Leontari to the quarry while the rest of the adventurers flank the encampment for an ambush. Rufa spends the entire night in last-minute cosplay fashion, creating the most elaborate, realistic goblin costume anybody has ever seen, with a DC perception of 33. He is now fatigued, but it's totally worth it. Shionibus approaches Morel to apologize about the attack on him earlier. He asks her why she thinks he let her do it, and upon professing she had no idea, he responds with, "Because you have to trust me. Because I have to trust you." He insists on the importance of sticking together, and Shionibus admits it's been a long time since anyone has trusted her. Upon hearing this, Morel confesses more about his time in Ur, and the impact of being given an identity by a 10-year-old girl. Inspired by the story, Shionibus relents that he has her trust until he breaks it. When Morel asks her if there's anything he can help her with, or if there's anything she wants, she confesses, "Unless you can bring someone back from the dead, I don't think I'll ever get what I want." Meanwhile, Ilona approaches Matthias, who's brooding by a tree somewhere. She mentions that a day or so ago, she noticed Matthias respond oddly upon learning Morel was a worshipper of Aphra, and Ilona wanted to get clarification on why. He conveys his disdain for religion, though he respects those who practice. He insists he's seen the downfall of people who follow gods and goddesses, and asks Ilona if Aphra is the goddess of love. She explains that while Aphra is not the sole deity of love, she definitely embodies all that love is. Ilona is insistent that if Matthias opens himself up to love, it will come back into his life. But Matthias retorts that if Aphra really is the goddess of love, that she is very selective and should not let things slide. especially for the people that follow her. When Ilona sees Matthias shut down the conversation, she promises she won't bother him about it again, but offers him an ear if Matthias ever wants to talk about the clear pain that's plaguing him. As she walks away, Matthias stops her, saying, "Don't give up your life for some being that won't lend a hand in return. I think more of those that I can see than those that I can't." Ilona turns to Matthias and with a gentle smile replies, "Person to person, I'm not going anywhere." As Eloise mindlessly carves into the same tree she was working on before, it becomes time for her shift with Leontari. She's approaching the massive orc when she notices his shadow, which shouldn't be possible in the darkness. She walks slowly toward him, looks him dead in the eyes, then off to the left, and encourages the entity to speak. All of a sudden, she hears 100 voices screaming in pain in the back of her head. She coaxes it again, suggesting she can free it from its pain if it shows her how. A vision enters her mind of a giant goblin face grinning evilly from ear to ear with goggles shielding its eyes, the aura of horror surrounding it. This is so much I'm on the edge of my seat. Off a ways, Woodward approaches Shionibus with a stern look in his eyes. He says he saw Shionibus talking to Morel and hopes it was an apology. He expounds on the clear divide between the group and points out the massive flaws and thoughtless actions of Shionibus's decision to use Morel as target practice. Woodward stresses the importance of sticking together, comparing the adventurers to roots, and urging Shionibus to consider the safety and feelings of the rest of the party since she has so clearly become the leader. Shionibus apologizes to Woodward and states that she will do better in the future. They share a gentle moment as they head back to bed. In the morning, the adventurers venture to the next new unit on the map. As they approach it, they're able to spy a much smaller encampment through the trees, and a mysterious figure beat to hell and tied up by the edge of camp. This person looks incredibly familiar to Shionibus. And that is where we end episode 5 of Edge of Legend. Make sure to tune in 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to the Nat20 Productions official channel on Twitch to catch the newest episodes of Edge of Legend as they happen. We look forward to seeing you in chat as you become legends right alongside us. Thank you for watching!